These are the project paper personnel that got CARPE launched, I think it was 9 years ago. I put 1997 up there. Richard, you can correct me if it was 98 or 96, but we've been involved, or I personally have been involved in the startup of CARPE since the very beginning, and I'm happy to be still marginally involved in CARPE, and I'll get to our role in CARPE in a second or two. Judy and Nancy, thank you very much for the invitation. You've asked me to speak for 5 minutes. I'll try my best to hold to the line. I'm going to talk a little bit about activities that we're doing now in the Congo, very little bit about what we've done, and some lessons learned. Thanks, Doreen, too, for the invitation. Projects that we've completed. Our first project was on the Congo River Environment and Development Project, funded by USAID, DRC. Thank you, Diane Russell, for helping us get that project off the ground. That's a freshwater ecosystem conservation project that we were working with fishing communities in Equatorial Bandundu province since about 2000, and have been working ever since on sustainable fisheries management since 2000. We also implemented a large project on food security and livelihoods with USAID DRC funding called CLIFFS. We did some work in Ituri in the coffee sector. We've been working the last few years with WWF on community-based natural resource management activities in landscape number 7, and we've completed our work in that. Current projects we're working on, our main program activities with the Democracy and Governance program. We're in our 4th phase now of anti-corruption work, working in 5 provinces in the DRC. I'll get to the details of that in a minute. We've just started a project with USAID Washington funding from the Democracy and Governance program on strengthening the capacity of customary chiefs to mitigate conflict in Bafoussende territory, the largest territory in the DRC. Much of the Maiko National Park in landscape number 10 falls in Bafoussende. We're also finishing up some small-scale infrastructure rehabilitation with Basin funding, and we're probably going to do some more of that soon, too. We're a sub-grantee to CRS on health sector activity access, and we're a new partner with CI in landscape number 10. We have a number of projects that are in development. I don't know if they'll be funded or not, but these involve sustainable fisheries management, a sub-regional activity on anti-corruption, anti-erosion work with the Nile Basin Initiative, and then there are some other projects too. A number of people have mentioned corruption. We've been working on corruption for the last 4 years with USAID DRC funding. The corruption, we have a hands-on program on corruption which begins with helping communities and all stakeholders that are involved at the community level, at territorial level, at provincial level, and at national level understand the costs of corruption. What does corruption cost different stakeholders, and what do stakeholders think that they can do in terms of fighting corruption? So everything begins, this vicious circle begins with this culture of acceptance, which leads to a culture of débrouillardisme, where people just get by on a daily basis. The cost of corruption to the average Congolese citizen is mind-boggling. If one were to look at a map, which I think we might in a second or two, and see a stretch of Congo River or Kasai River from the Lac Mai-Ndombe down to Kinshasa, you'd see that you have to go through approximately 150 barriers at one time to get from that point to Kinshasa, and the amount of bribes that one would have to pay is astronomical. So that culture leads to weak and non-existent application of law. Public services don't operate correctly. The judicial system is inefficient. Civil society partners haven't been able to exact accountability of government. And capacities are weak. So agricultural produce rots in the fields, markets are inefficient, public-private partnerships are rare. Tracasserie is corruption in Congolese. These are constituted of local government officials, private sector, church groups, that have decided to come together because they're sick and tired and they don't want to take it anymore. And that's a surprising fact that Congolese, we've reached an interesting point in the Congo where people really are sick and tired and they would like to see some change. The activities of the CLATs have to do with monitoring and reporting on corruption. They advocate for, now with the new constitution, let's see, I have 1 minute, the new constitution enables decentralized governance, so CLATs are participating in feeding into the development decision-making process. And there's a lot of interesting impacts that we've been able to help facilitate generating at territorial and provincial levels. We started a project in what turns out to be landscape number 10, strengthening the ability of customary chiefs to mitigate conflict with, here's one my leader that we're working with. His name is Michigan. He's very famous in the area. He's one of the most renowned my leaders. And this is a meeting we held with him about a month and a half ago. And the objective is to help chiefs who are already fairly strong in the landscape do their job even better. You can see that the green area there is the Maiko National Park. Most of it falls in Bafoussende territory. We're going to be doing a small bit of work with CI to help in helping mitigate conflict in that area, and I'll leave that at that. We've helped initiate the formation of 200 fishing associations. This is fishing associations in the Mai-Ndombe, and these are the fishing basins around the area that these fishing associations work. This is in Equateur Province, fishing associations and sustainable fisheries activities we've been working on. This is USA DRC mission actually has funded quite a bit in fisheries management. Some of the tools that IRM has developed through CARPE funding over the last 9 years, we've done work on participatory mapping. We've done a community options analysis and investment toolkit, which helps mobilize communities across landscapes to take conservation action. And we also have a consensus methodology for consensus seeking in complex environment and development situations. Last slide, some of the lessons learned. Working through teams remains challenging. I think everybody would echo that to varying degrees. Junior partners like BCI or IRM remain a bit marginal in the planning process. The lack of standards for what words mean still is a bit troubling, I believe. Participation isn't participation to everybody, neither is sustainability or capacity building. There isn't really a mechanism that CARPE has generated to capitalize on investments that it's made. So CARPE funded the COAID process, but in other landscapes, COAID hasn't really been used, and it undershoots the potential in CBNRM zones. Fisheries management, I heard AWF talk a bit about that, and also WCS. The USAID mission has actually done a lot in fisheries, and that the potential for leveraging that experience may be undershot as well. Finally, linkages with anti-corruption, conflict mitigation, and livelihoods. I think a few people have mentioned that. Unless those are really well integrated, I think this will imperil sustainability within the CARPE program. Thank you very much.